All right, we are back with HROT. I'm going to be hosting for a little bit. My name is Maleev, pronoun she, they, and I'm going to be keeping us up to date on things such as donations and some bid wars and incentives that we have going on. Quickly before we start, I do want to make a reminder that we are currently deep into a battle between whether or not we want to save the frames or save the puppies. Currently, as it stands, the puppy's fate is, or the frames are favored in their fate right now by about $4.73. If you'd like to see the puppies be saved, we do need to beat that incentive. Again, Save the Frames is at $35.73 and Save the Puppies is at $31. And with that, I will let Ohmacs, aka Crypto Luigi. Take the wheel.
How dare you? How dare you call me Crypto Luigi? All right. Welcome everybody to HROT. This is an incredible game, and I am joined with on the couch our previous runner of Doom, Zello or Zelu, doesn't matter.
Oh, so much for your patience. We are here with HROT. Joining me will be Ohmacs and Zello. Just want to give a quick reminder that we are currently locked into a bid war on whether we want to save the frames or save the puppies. Right now, it is the frames in the lead with 35.73, and the puppies not too far behind at $31. We'd only need like maybe a $5 donation if somebody wants to save the puppies, and they'd be back in the advantage. And with that said and done, we should be all set and ready. If you would like to take the wheel, Ohmacs.
Hey there, everybody. So, thanks again for your patience. Sorry about that. This is HROT, basically Czech Quake. And I'm joined by Zello on the couch. We're going to be doing all 3 episodes as fast as possible. And we will be, when we get to the 3rd episode, that's when the cutoff is going to be for that bid war. So if you want to see some puppers, now would be the time to get your donations in. And with that being said, I'll count us down for the timer. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Alright, so HROT's a pretty cool game. It actually just left early access in May of this year. This is the full version, so it's a relatively new game. Episodic format, very Quake-like in both gameplay and just kind of its general art design style. The developer is just a single developer. It's hard if I mispronounce this. Spitanev. He's from Czech Republic, and he was the sole developer, and he did an amazing job with this game. It's a really, really good game.
Not off to a super auspicious start. I missed the key there, but that's okay. We'll make up for it later. But yeah, I will say, yeah, just a little disclaimer about pronunciation. I can't speak for Zello, but I don't know any Czech. I've looked up some pronunciation stuff, but expect a fair amount of mispronunciation and whatnot. We're doing our best.
We'll talk about movement and weapons in this game. So movement's a little strange for a boomer shooter that's kind of based on like the old styles where you had like strafe running and Doom and such. Strafing in this game doesn't really seem to give a notable speed bonus, so it's usually just easier to just move directly towards whatever target you need and just carefully target things on the way.
Yeah.
Ammo management as well is pretty tight. Like, we want lots of grenades. The Kejdovex, they drop grenades, the big fat guys. So we want to kill them on the route as possible. And shotgun management is also really important because the shotgun is not so much a sniping weapon in this game like it is in like Doom. It's very, very close ranged, has a wide spread, so you get the most out of it just planting it right into your opponent's face.
Yeah, expect to see a lot of like basically jumping into a guy and pulling the trigger on the shotgun at the closest range possible. There's also pistol reloading, which is not super uncommon for a boomer shooter. I mean, see the build engine games and whatnot. But as a result, I'm going to be kind of reloading whenever I can. Another quirk we're seeing here is most enemies can't swim. So if possible, I am going to try kicking enemies into water to deal with them because it saves ammo.
Look, if you kicked me into that kind of sewer water, I'd probably die too.
That's true, that's true. That's another thing is armor. If you see me going to pick up coins, I'm not going for high scores or anything like that. I'm trying to pick up the coins and medals both function as armor. And here we're going to get our grenade launcher / rocket launcher here. The Hussite cannon. Which we're going to be using... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. It's definitely the most important weapon in the run, because we kind of had some rocket boosting in Doom, and we're actually going to use the cannon to launch ourselves and do some similar boost. It's not like Quake, where we get a lot of height, but we can still use the momentum. By the way, here's the first boss, a giant gorilla. Bye-bye.
Yeah, he's gone. That gorilla is a reference to another Slavic game, Ukrainian FPS called Vivisector, which is an incredible FPS if anyone wants to play a very, very deeply strange, fun game. Basically, Island of Dr. Moreau pastiche, but with rocket gorillas and stuff, because video games.
Yeah, there's a lot of really amazing lore and just the things that are based off. Like, we saw, like, those little goatish enemies called the Pedros. Those are actually based on a brand of Czech bubblegum.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that in this game. Having watched a decent number of people play this game at a higher level, I have noticed that I kick a lot more. Than most people. I just find it very satisfying to kick people into the water.
Well, you kick ass, that's why.
Well, thank you, Zello. Let's see. We're actually coming up on our first rocket jump here, which we're going to use to skip a large section of this stage. Oops. Oh boy.
Yeah, doing rocket jumps in this game is a little tricky. Like I said, you don't really get height, so it's very much more about direction and making your jump at just the right time so that you do get enough clearance. And it's rather tricky. Like, it's a lot more difficult than it seems.
Thankfully, we are allowed to quick save, although we didn't have to there. I've never gotten that on my first try.
Marathon first, man.
Hey, this has never happened before, but in a good way. Just grab this health pack here.
Yeah, interestingly enough, even though we're playing on very easy and we take a lot less damage, health is quite a bit at a premium in runs because we just tank through so much stuff.
It's true. Later in the game, you're going to see us tank our way through like a Indiana Jones boulder, and that takes that
one's great.
Astonishing amount of health and armor to get through. For similar reasons, yeah, we are also going to be going for armor pickups as conveniently as we can. I think that's our first confident that we see.
We saw a couple in the last level, but yeah,
right. There was 3 in that one. Yeah,
those floating heads are confidents. Those are based. They're basically based, like, the face is based on Lenin, and a confident was actually like a designation for people cooperating with, like, Czech secret police. So they kind of menacingly, like, try and take you out that way. So we got another grenade jump coming right here as soon as we take care of these Smeskos.
Yep. Okay, this one's a little trickier because we gotta... Oh, there we go.
Very nice.
Thank you. I'm really excited about how these are going so far, which, I mean, is just setting up for some disastrous ones. Oh, that confident got right up in my face.
Ooh. Yeah, other enemies to worry about, the hazmats are actually some of the most dangerous enemies in the game because they move around a lot, they're hard to target, and they have shotguns that do a surprisingly high amount of damage for an enemy that common. They're kind of like the shotgunners in Doom.
It's
with
true.
Quite a bit of health.
Yeah. Now, on the note of health, I'm a little low, so I got this safety lightning gun here. Oh boy.
Oh, that's so scary.
yeah, this is threading a bit of a needle here.
Yeah, the lightning gun's really cool. It basically does chain lightning on enemies. Also, nice goal.
Thank you.
It does chain enemies on enemies that are close to each other, so you can use it to target multiple enemies at once and get rid of a little bit of, make a little bit of space. Also, nice 1 health. The only health that actually matters.
Yeah.
So we do have another boss fight coming up. Surprisingly, the first episode has a lot of, like, little mini bosses.
That's true.
They're really strange. Like, we have, if you were tired of gym class, this goat that shoots rockets at you would definitely liven your day up. It's
true. It's also weirdly the second boss in a row that's like an inanimate object with rockets. The gorilla is like that too. That's it for So Cold Gym. Welcome to Palace of Culture. I am going to grab this health For safety.
Please don't get smashed by trains.
Oh, that happened during practice.
I've done that an embarrassing amount of times.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna grab some skimmed milk for safety. That's another thing. Most of the healing items are rationed food. Cans of chicken or bags of skimmed milk. And then later we'll get keefly and other baked goods.
Yeah, now we got the super shotgun, which is pretty much the same thing as the regular, but you need to be even closer to get the most out of it.
Yeah.
But it does ridiculous DPS.
In addition to that, it also does a colossal amount of knockback on some enemies, so it's really good for dealing with those serious SAM kamikazes. I have 3 confidence in here that are all going to want to stop me from doing my rocket jump properly, so I'm just going to safety them real quick here, and then...
Yeah, this one's a little tricky because you actually have to jump into a vent. Nice first try.
Thank you. That's the one I'm most practiced at, so... It was the first one I tried when I was learning the run. That being said, I'm not amped about how little health I have. But...
Well, just don't get shot, man.
There we go. This guy's gonna fly? Look at him go.
That guy just went out. Oh yeah, helicopter. Yeah, this game has such a very memorable set of enemies.
That's one of the things I really love about it is the enemies are varied and they're memorable, you know, I mean, Confidence obviously pretty memorable, a giant head shooting bullets at you. But you also got enemy. Oh, that's gonna take me back to just before that rocket. Oh no, I did a safety because I was. No, this is the beginning of the level. Okay, never mind.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. These things happen.
That's okay. More time to talk about HROT.
Exactly.
Also, you might have noticed, during the first pass of the level, there was that message about don't cross the train tracks. That's not just a warning. Those train tracks actually are electrified and do damage you if you stay on them too long. So
yeah,
be careful hopping across them.
Exactly. If you're only on them for a very short amount of time, you can usually avoid taking that damage. But I don't know if it's exactly a timed thing or if they're on a frame rule or what. But
it may be frame rule like how Doom does poison.
Yeah, that was kind of my thinking. I'm gonna grab this chicken. Ooh. Yeah, see there I got toasted a little bit.
The chicken was toasty and now you are too.
Yeah, exactly.
If I could take a moment just to remind everybody, as was noted, we are still trying to go through with the bid war. We're looking at either saving the frames or saving the puppies. Right now, saving the frames is in the lead. If you want to save those puppies, we need at least $5 going in to make sure that those puppies are saved. We're quickly closing in on the deadline for that, so once we pass that, there will be no going back, and whichever is in the lead will be the final decision that will be acted out. Once again, the frames are in the lead.
Okay.
Yeah, we had to make a bit of a detour because we didn't have the health to do the rocket jump this time, so we're just gonna activate this puzzle normally.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate, but ultimately not the end of the world. Especially whether, I mean, we'll see whether or not we're doing Georgia Brad or not, but if we're skipping that level, we should still be way ahead. That depends how much people like puppies, of course, though.
Let your money talk of what you want to decide.
Exactly. Put your money where your mouth is, instead of what we do with money in this game, which is that we use it as a shield, essentially. Hence why currency is armor in this game. Same thing with metals. It's a throwback to
Look, if if Chris Tucker in Rush Hour 2 can use Ben Franklin's to save himself from a stab, I don't see why you can't use metal to deflect bullets.
Exactly. Oh, this gentleman got the jump on me a little bit. Now, Palace of Culture, for me, is the level that I am always the most worried about health management during, other than maybe the Casper Castle, but
Please save just in case.
I was gonna say, yeah. We do still have a kamikaze coming up here. Thankfully, we are really good for shotgun ammo. So, oh, wrong turn. And we have 2 turrets at the end of the level here, which can very easily ruin my day if I strafe into a shot.
Yeah, turrets
Like
in
that.
general aren't too bad, but things happen. Ugh.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll talk about one other enemy, the Scapucci's, real quick. They're like the blue guys with the gas masks.
Yes.
They have the annoying ability to teleport if they don't die on the first hit, and that makes them very unpredictable, especially if they're just unloading a submachine gun into your face. So we
Yeah.
try and usually make them a priority if we need to get somewhere.
It's true. You'll see that in uranium mine. There's a couple of them I really like to get rid of early because they can come up on you and really ruin your day. And now here's a potential... Oh, here's another item that's extremely important. Wine. Wine works like the portable health kit in Duke Nukem or other similar items in old school FPSs. It's a portable healing item.
It also makes you drunk if you drink too much of it, and your aim sways. It's a nice
true.
touch.
Yeah. Look forward to seeing that quite a bit. There is a skip here using the game's mascot, Shemek the horse here. I'm not going to do it because I'm not super confident in it.
See, you're already killing the animals. You gotta kill the dogs now.
I was going to say, I mean, it's a nice thought that we want to save some animals, but yeah, this game's not super kind to animals. Ironically, given the title of the level that features them, the animals that are going to be getting the most mercy are the newts, who we basically don't kill in the level where they're the primary enemies.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. That's a whole topic to talk about. with
Yeah,
that
I was
level.
going to say.
All right, so we got another rocket jump right here. But it looks like we're just gonna go ahead and skip it and just save the
Yeah,
level.
I'm a little bit concerned about health going into.
Yeah. This one doesn't save much time anyway, so it's okay. We just we can save it for the spiders coming up. They're not too dangerous, but they do block your path a lot.
Yeah, I like to just
Play spider stomping.
exactly. Spiders are weak to boots. They're also, like a lot of enemies.
Oh, that's the Pokemon.
They also really like to jump forward. Like a lot of enemies, we're going to see another Schmerich the horse in this area that's going to do the same thing, where he's just going to see us and he's going to jump for us. And it's not a great idea on his part, because it is in fact going to launch him directly into water he can't swim in. Well, we don't actually see him do it, but we heard him. And bears will do that later in the game. Sorry, Sparko.
Yeah, unfortunately, this game is not kind with bears, as we will see much later.
Yeah, again, Casper Castle, a really fun... There's a few stages that really... Actually, that's another animal that gets a lot of leeway as snakes, on grounds that they are unbelievably tanky.
It's ridiculous how much health they have,
Yeah.
especially on very hard.
Also, they can't drown like most enemies, so you can't just kick them into water or flood the areas they're in, because when you do flood the areas they're in, they're fine with it. They're just like, oh, cool. This is okay. All right.
Yeah, this little vent right here, we had to hit a switch, otherwise there'd be a barricade. And fun fact, the first time I played this level in my casual, I tried to like swim through the whole thing, got all the way to the end, and realized, oh, I have to go back, and I'm starting to drown, not gonna have enough health. Well, funny enough, I was wondering, can I actually use the wine to save myself? So yes, you can drink the wine to save yourself from drowning.
It's true.
Just don't try that in real life.
I was gonna say, you can be drowning in wine, you just can't be drowning in water. Which, again, also don't try that in real life. Now, I've seen a couple of them drop, so maybe now would be a good time to explain everyone's favorite item that enemies drop in this game. What's the deal? Oh, I took a bad hit there, so I'm gonna grab this food. What's the deal with backpacks?
They're just really, really equipped. They want to give you the bullets.
Yeah.
They really. In fact, I think backpacks also give shells, if I remember right.
Yeah. I just remember there was a big debate over like what was in backpacks, and there was a lot of people trying to figure it out themselves.
Maybe we should bring this up in the HROT Discord and have the whole debate about it.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. I've had all manner of enemies follow me down this elevator shaft. Oh yeah, here we go. A confident and a miner.
I'm amazed that miner managed to get all the way there from the water.
So am I. I'm gonna just have a couple glugs for safety, and then this is our next boss.
Big skull spider.
Mm-hmm. Just gonna make our way down here and finish the underground stream. This leads us to Mausoleum, our last level of the first act.
Are you gonna go for door skip?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, so like we were saying, Simic the horse can be used, like the hitbox on the horses is so big that they can actually push you through doors if done right, but obviously you're taking a lot of damage and it's very random how they behave, so it's understandable just to leave those skips out.
Well, and this one in particular, I don't really know the setup for very well. I've seen it, but when I was doing practice, I was like, I was deeply concerned about not making progress because I would be too caught up in doing really like crazy skips. And the Semic ones in particular make me really nervous because, I mean, we'll see later with the bulldozer skip. That is kind of ornery, so I tried to limit the number of door skips like that. There are some that are really easy, like the ones in War with the Newts, because they give you so much wine in those levels. Also, loses a little bit of time, but I like taking out those confidence first.
Yeah, confidence have a weird attack. Like they spew the bullets, but the bullets usually go in like a V shape, and the angle trajectory feels a little bit random how they do it. Mm-hmm. So it's very easy to get hit, and whenever they hit you, your vision blackens a bit. So it's hard to stay focused if you're dealing with them in a fight and you start taking hits.
Yeah, and those ones show up right before, admittedly, an easy boss who preview there. Hello, Gustav. Or not Gustav.
That's Gottwald.
Yeah, Gottwald. I always get them mixed up.
I know. It's both G, and they both get grounded, as we say.
Yeah,
so,
it's true.
So this game takes some very special liberties with the people that are represented. So this is Gottwald coming up. This is actually Spider Gottwald. Gottwald was actually the chairman of the Czech Communist Party from like 1929 to 1953, and we're just gonna blow him up because we don't like Spider Gottwald. He's scary, spins discs everywhere.
Yeah, the discs remind us of a certain enemy that's gonna say "Scortel" to us a lot of times later in the run that I don't like because of how spongy it is. But we do get some nice fancy fireworks. And that's the end of Mausoleum. The game is not going to teach us how to make beef stroganoff, and you can find that out too if you buy your own copy of HROT. And
yeah, it's a really nice touch that they like every time you complete an episode, they do give you a recipe for some really cool food.
It's true. I have actually made their recipe for beef stroganoff, and it was quite good.
Oh, nice.
Okay, good. That was a weird one. That second. So now we get introduced to headsmen. And headsmen are these kind of Resident Evil 4 enemies with the hoods. And they. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna set this up a little better.
I think you actually grabbed it that time.
I have a bad habit for doing that. In practice, one time I got it twice. There we go.
There we go.
I'm gonna grab this Husite crossbow. It's not the most useful item, but I like having it. It's sort of this game's sniper rifle.
It's a very satisfying weapon to use.
That's exactly
headsman.
That's exactly it. It's not the most useful. Look away, Sparko.
Bear.
Where?
Not there.
I'm also there's a. Oh God, no! That was not.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get that bear out of the way. So we do have a very mean little trap coming up. There is an Indiana Jones boulder at the end. I don't know if you have enough health to well, with the wine you probably do.
As I say, I think I can get above it with the wine. Let's try. Yeah!
Like, this thing does ridiculous amounts of damage. Like, it took all our armor and 80 health.
Yeah. Okay, do we have any donations? Because Uranium Mine is the longest stage in the game. Well, one of the longest stages in the game. And it's typified by some long stretches of riding on a train.
Right. Yeah. We do not have right now. I do have a couple of things that I can talk about. I can give us everybody a nice reminder that once again we are still working towards that incentive or the bid war between saving the frames or saving the puppies. There's a puppy passing by right now. Do you want to save that puppy? It costs you $5 because right now the frames are in the lead. We need somebody to donate $5 if we want to save the puppies. On top of that, we do also have a bid war going on for the following game where we're going to be deciding whether we want to do an 8-bit or 32-bit graphic style for Lena's Inception. While we are here, I would like to remind everybody that Slurpathon is raising money for Extra Life, which raises funds for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Proceeds go to the Alberta Children's Hospital Foundation. Last year, Slurpathon raised $4,200, which I believe our goal this time is $5,000. It's a lofty goal, but I actually have confidence that we can make that.
I think so.
Extra Life is a Children's Miracle Network hospital fundraising program that empowers the gaming community to make a difference in the lives of local kids. Participants fundraise year-round, including a 24-hour gaming marathon, an annual gaming tournament in early spring, and a weekend of tabletop gaming.
Yeah, so it's all for a good cause. You also may have noticed it's been pointed out before, but that boulder we had to dodge earlier does in fact track us. It will go around corners and whatnot. Thankfully, that one doesn't last very long.
It will kill you though.
Yes, that one does even more damage. I believe that one does something like 175, which means that even with like a full core of armor, you're basically unable to survive it.
That's heavy.
Oh yeah.
Sorry if I talk a little bit about the game background and art design while we're going to pull out.
Take it away.
Yeah, so we haven't really talked about the plot. So the plot is that we're in 1986 Czechoslovakia, and the horloge clock had a gear stolen from it, and that's causing all these super natural phenomenon to happen. So we're on that quest to brave all these horrors and get the gear back. Interestingly enough, this game does use a custom engine programmed in Pascal, which is very rare. Like most of the boomer shooters these days use like Unreal or Unity or something else like the Doom engine, but the dev actually made his own engine just for this game, which is super cool.
And it's an astonishingly like robust engine. That's something about this game is that like, yeah, there's some like clipping and stuff like that, but like on a
it's very stable.
I was gonna say on a casual playthrough, I did not encounter any significant glitches in this game, and it loads and runs very smoothly. These are those two gentlemen that I didn't want to deal with later. I did botch the first one, but that's okay.
Yeah, the other nice thing about this game is just like the art direction, the design, as it goes for that blocky Quake feel.
Yeah,
and it's done really well, especially with like the color scheme. You wouldn't think a color scheme of mostly browns would really be appealing for a game like this, but it actually works out really well, and it's complemented by the game actually having really good sewer levels, which is not something you really see in FPSs.
That's true. That's true. This game does a lot of really cool stuff with like verticality in stages as well, and just like not being afraid to just like swing for the fences. Velatrice here is a perfect example of that, where it's just like a very out there level.
Yeah, you just take shrooms to open a door. That's how you get in when you lock yourself out, right?
Every time. We've all been there.
You've heard it here, folks.
You get home from a night full of uranium mining. You take some shrooms. You go into the catacombs. There's a ghost, maybe? Is it real? There's certainly a lot of headsmen. There's an absurd number of headsmen down here, actually.
Yeah, the horror elements in this game are actually really well balanced. It does some really great jump scares, and then it immediately throws you back in the action.
Yeah, I'll give it this, as people who watched me play this blind the first time on stream can attest. This game successfully jump scared me more than any horror game I've ever played, and I'm primarily a horror game speedrunner, so.
Yeah, the one level that later in this episode, I literally screamed.
Yes. I mean, I think we're talking about the same thing. I imagine that
probably
would be the second last level of this episode.
Yes.
Yep, same. But also, construction equipment has jump scared me in this game.
Yes, the first time we didn't pass by any loaders, but yes, a bulldozer coming alive with like the most shrieking sound.
Yeah.
And then immediately killing you is definitely made me lose my crap.
It's true. Speaking of loaders, we're very briefly going to see one, yeah. Oh. He's going to bully us, but we're going to grab soup and use that to damage boost past him, essentially.
Oh, and this introduces the infested rider enemies, those guys you see on the wheelchairs. They are surprisingly some of the most difficult enemies to deal with, because they can charge at you, and that does an absurd amount of damage, or they can shoot like these weird balls at you, and that does even more damage.
Yeah, they are incredibly brutal. As you may have seen, it just did 30 damage to me by basically touching me.
They have a lot of health, surprisingly, too.
Yeah, they're not quite as tanky as pathologists or... Oops. As pathologists or Ketcheviks, but they're way up there, and they do a lot more damage than either of those enemies.
Yeah, they're generally a first priority for combat.
100%.
Speaking of combat, here's a tank.
Yeah.
And also, speaking of infested riders,
yeah,
the moment you try to open, you expect the door to open, and it's like, nope, off to the side, there's a rider ready to snipe you.
Yeah, just ready
That took me by surprise the first time.
That rider has killed me many more times than that tank. All right.
You know what else that can kill you? Chickens.
It's true. That's why we use the speed sickle. The attack up, or the like turbo mode, I don't know what the actual proper name is for it.
I think it's actually just 2x.
2x, yes. 2x power up we use a decent number of times throughout this run. This is probably the level I'm least confident in. Casper Castle.
Well, you just keep killing all these confidents. Of course you're not.
And I'm about to kill 3 more with a crossbow.
Casper Castle is a really cool level. Actually, does have the entrance to the first secret level of the game, but we're not going to be visiting the secret levels. It's just they're out of the way. Yeah. They are like neat little Easter eggs. Yeah,
they're not like crazy long, but they're really fun. In particular, the one that you get from this one is one of my favorite hidden levels in a shooter ever.
Yeah, I wish that level was longer because I really enjoyed the concept.
It's really cool, and visually it's really impressive. It surprised me that it's just kind of used for that level.
Alright, well, we can only hold so much wine, so Ohmacs needs to drink now.
Yes. And now we are introduced to another very tanky enemy. Welcome. These are gimps. Not the guy riding the horse itself is wearing a gimp mask.
Interestingly enough, the headsman riding it can still shoot you too, so it's that you have 2 entities to worry about.
Yeah. And sometimes when you kill them, you get jib both of them. Sometimes you don't. And then you have to deal with the headsman separately. Thankfully, they can be stunned.
Oh, that headsman cheated. He should have been jibbed.
Yeah. That was fraud.
There are some nice goodies back here. Like, this game is chock full of really hard to find secrets.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of good goodies in a lot of them.
It's true. Oh, now we're going to be introduced to the dreaded snakes. And for that reason, I'm going to take out the wine, and I'm just going to get real drunk going in. Because if I'm going to deal with an underwater passage involving snakes, I'm going to do it good and soused.
Maybe that's what they should have done for snakes on a plane.
Yeah! Snakes in a tunnel underneath a castle in the Czech Republic. Also, cool thing to know about, you might be wondering, oh, Cashberg Castle, this seems like a really interesting place. Can I go there in real life? Yes! As is the case with most of the levels in this game, it's based off of a real place.
Yeah, the design is really neat, taking cues from, like, actual geography in surrounding areas. Also, hi, Ahmad and Raiders.
Oh, wow. Raiders. Welcome.
It's ironic we got Raiders. We just did our Raiders of the Lost Ark in this episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Would it be okay if I updated all our Raiders on what is going on here?
Absolutely.
Yes,
so right now we are running an event here. Slurpathon is raising money for Extra Life, which raises funds for the Children's Miracle Network Hospital. Proceeds go to the Alberta Children's Hospital Foundation. Extra Life brings together thousands of gamers around the world to play games in support of their local Children's Miracle Network Hospital. Since its inception in 2008, Extra Life has raised over 100 million USD for sick and injured kids. Extra Life is a Children's Miracle Network Hospital's fundraising program that empowers the gaming community to make a difference in the lives of local kids. Participants fundraise year-round, including a 24-hour gaming marathon, an annual gaming tournament in early spring, and a weekend of tabletop gaming. We currently have some incentives going on right now, with one actually being quite relevant to what's happening on screen. HROT still has 2 incentives, a bid war going on at the moment, with Save the Frames currently in the lead for 35.73, or if you maybe want to save some puppers, that is currently at a in disadvantage at $31 and is looking for maybe $5 if you want to save those puppies. Ohmacs could maybe explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, so in episode 3, we are gonna have a level called Georgia Podybrad. And the speedrun route involves basically skipping the entire level. Tragically, that means skipping a couple of adorable Czech ratter dogs that we can free and will help us out during that stage. So it's kind of, it is a significant time save to not save the dogs. But I mean, who doesn't want to save a dog? Me. I don't want to save a dog. I want to save a frame. But the dogs are adorable. They are some of the most entertaining video game dogs I've ever encountered. This side of Huey from Haunting Ground. Also, welcome to Granny's Valley, one of the longer stages in the game.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, like, for the bid war, you have about 5 minutes to get any donations in if you want to save those by because we got this level and the boss fight level, and that's it for episode 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have Granny's Valley. You see that Granny statue that's out in the middle of the courtyard there. The Granny statue actually is based on the grandmother, which is both the statue in East Bohemia and the Czech novel. Mm-hmm. And it's a pretty intimidating looking thing. I hope it doesn't do anything.
If there's one thing I've learned from this game, it's that inanimate objects don't just get up and start fighting you. Okay? On that note, we're going to have a jump scare in a second here. I'll try and count you down. That should be in about 3, 2, 1. Here it goes.
That's the one that made me scream.
Same. Now...
That sound effect is just terrifying when it just pops up.
I'm going to put a couple landmines there, just in case a granny comes to life. That's also a great bit. If you don't put landmines there, she's looking in the window at you. It's a great little bit of intimidation. The granny is actually also surprisingly durable and surprisingly dangerous because she throws fireballs at you. Yeah, there's also another risk there, which I learned the first time I beat the granny, which is if you're using like the grenade launcher or one of the other weapons that does a lot of collateral damage, you can break the beehives behind her.
Oh yes, that's right.
And they are relentless. You will go through so much wine trying to stop the bees from stinging you or stopping yourself from dying from bee stings.
Yeah, I think the only way to stop is to jump in the water, and there is an achievement for that. That's how I found out.
That's true. I should have known that as someone who speedran MGS3 for a long time, that bees can be juked through water.
Not the bees!
Ah, they're in my eyes. I'm gonna grab this quad damage here, and then I'm gonna kick a bunch of fish.
Yeah, we have a bunch of enemy waves coming up to get into the building coming up. And I want to talk about the power up actually, which is the Kalvaria of Kozlov. It's inspired by the Kalva of Kozlov, the top part of the human skull attributed to Jan Zizka, leader of the Hussites during the Hussite War. So there's your bit of trivia. But yeah, it's basically a damage booster, and it's very, very useful in the few levels that it appears in.
Mm-hmm. We've seen it before. We used it in Weishrod Castle. Very briefly. This one, it's very, very helpful for dealing with those gimps. There is another way of taking out the gimps that the game subtly hints at. That despite it being not the most effective time-wise, I'm going to do it because it's extremely funny. There's a sign here saying not to wash horses. They might not be cooperative. You can, in fact, kick the gimps into the water, killing them instantly.
They're great.
Yeah.
Oh well, this one just doesn't want to cooperate today. But
these things happen. These things happen. We certainly kicked plenty of other things into water.
Yeah, the sound design, especially in this game, is great. Just not like just the basic sound effects of like grunts and groans and such, but just the little things. Like I love when a power up runs out. It's like 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
The part sound when it runs out is so good.
Yeah, it's another little piece of this game's kind of fun humor.
By the way, here's another boss fight. This is Gusto right here.
Yeah.
Giant floating head. So Gustav Husák was based on a former Czech president. He's extra annoying to kill because he spawns a bunch of other enemies during the entire fight. And he doesn't like to come down very often for close range attacks.
Yeah.
So
I like to do is once he has a lot of enemies, for safety, I like to hit him with the lightning gun and then go back to this shotgun canceling.
Yeah, lightning gun especially good just because it clears out everything behind you.
Yeah,
and that's good if you can farm more grenades if needed.
Yeah, and if you start spawning infested riders like you did there, it's a nice way of dealing with those. And with Gusta down, that is the end of the degustation, and now we enter the third and final chapter. My personal favorite, the gastroscopy. Here was that war with the newts you mentioned before. I completely forgot the name of the author who wrote War with the Newts, but it is a very influential Czech novel. He's also the writer who invented the word robot. A lot of people don't know that.
The author was Karl Kapek.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this entire level, the newts they're a seafaring race that in the novel they basically get exploited by the humans until they rebel. So we're gonna fight all the newts off here, and this is the only level they actually appear in. And we're mostly gonna be skipping that because we just went right to the end.
Yep.
That exit button's actually fake, and a missile launches and destroys everything.
Yep.
Yeah, that's obviously in the game. No, it's not. The whole thing was actually a delusion.
Yep. We wake up in the hospital with the much foreshadowed by my despair pathologists, an enemy that makes even the infested riders look somewhat squishy by comparison. They just are an absolute ammo sink. Now there is a compelling reason for that. If you look at how they're dressed, they're actually wearing radiation shielding for conducting X-rays. And at this point in history, that would just be basically lead plate mail underneath a hazmat suit. So there's a reason they're tanky. There's another thing I'm going to go a little bit out of my way to grab, and that's dualies. I'm only doing this because I think they're really fun. And they have a great reload animation. I can't not show that off for the
yeah, that was
people.
great. Yeah, another thing about this level in particular, any equipment that you had coming out of the War of the Newts, you don't start with any weapons because it was all hallucination. You only keep like whatever health you had. So, and supplies in this level are really tight.
Yeah, it's especially brutal because of how tanky some of the enemies are in the hospital. If there was a way to bring inventory over from War with the Newts, it might actually be worth doing the whole War with the Newts just to get the ball lightning launcher that you get during that. Even though it doesn't have very much ammo and stuff like that, there are just a few rooms in this level that, boy howdy, I would like to just erase with the ball lightning launcher. That's basically this game's BFG.
You know, I just realized we skipped the party in the last level. I'm sad.
Yeah, we didn't have the Newt Rave. Some viewers had suggested that would have been a great incentive, like donation incentive. But instead, I'm gonna make it a great you should play this game incentive, because there is a Newt Rave in that level, and it is incredibly fun. It's just a nice little hilarious Easter egg.
Yeah, you can crash the party as hard as you want there.
That's true. So we get the super shotgun, and then we get the soup. If you actually read those big cylinders, it's actually a series of hot plates with a soup, main course, and of course cake. I always just call them soup though, because it's the first word that comes up. And I like that there's a place where you can get the super shotgun, and you can say I'd prefer to get the soup.
Super shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Hospital is a surprisingly long level. There's quite a bit to do, and like I said, ammo management here has been really tight. Like, you don't even get the sickle at the beginning. Like, you don't even have...
That's
literally
true.
don't even have an attack for a while.
Yeah, unless you, like, basically until you get the shotgun, strangely first. There's some German meat salad, another thing I didn't realize was a thing until I played this game, and then I went and got it at a German/Polish supermarket in town, and that's also quite good.
I think it actually also only appears in this episode. There are some like items that just only appear in like very specific spots. Also, we grabbed a secret aluminum key because this secret is really nice. It has a double fire power up right here, which is great for these infested riders on the bumper cars.
Yeah. Can we get some cat jam in the chat for the Autodrome music? Not the cleanest, but... That was,
I like how he was just there. I wish you could just stomp him to death from there.
That would have been very nice. This is actually tied with War with the Newts for my favorite stage, Rosley. Very fun level with a lot of verticality. And a lot of really fun little Easter eggs and stuff, little side paths you can take. For my money, if you want a level that just kind of sums up like a lot of the fun stuff about HROT in a nutshell, Rosley's a really great example. It's got a little bit of horror, a little bit of zany comedy, some like great little bits of environmental storytelling, and could have gone better. Also, we get this vent jump, which I find extremely fun, and there's no fall damage in this game, but enemies take fall damage, which is pretty great. Especially, again, if you're like me and you like kicking people off of stuff or into stuff.
Before we forget, since this level is not too long, we do need the results of the bid war between saving the frames and saving the dogs.
Yeah, because this is the level before Georgia Brad.
I can definitely gladly supply you with those results. Well, maybe not gladly, but as the results seem to be standing, unless one more check, it does appear that Save the Frames will be our victor for this session with a total of 35.73. And Save the Puppies is unfortunately not going to cut it at $31.
All right, well.
You are making a hungry me very happy right now. Thank y'all.
Look forward to Saving the Puppies when you play HROT for yourself, which you absolutely should do. This game is an absolute delight. If our enthusiasm for it isn't apparent, it's just an incredibly fun game, an incredibly fun speed game, and stuff like the ratters, the dogs that we won't be seeing. There's just so many little things in it that are... They went out of their way. They didn't have to do it. But, like, this level has a fully usable, fully modeled miniature train set that we don't even see in the speed.
Not just that, the washing machine, too.
That's true, the washing machine. Okay, so here we go. Georgia Brad. Oh.
So this would normally be a long level where you'd grab this key, you'd fall through, and you have to fight your way all the way back. But with a rocket jump, we can actually just make it back. It's pretty tight. But this basically skips the entire level if we get it.
Yeah. And it's not a short level either. It's a fairly long level with the boss fight.
Yeah, we don't even see the Hussite King.
Yeah.
You can kill him in your playthrough if you get this game.
Yeah. And you can kill him with some dogs to help you out. Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, this jump is really tight. It's like almost the maximum distance. Very nice.
Thank you. You'd think with all those reloads that, oh, did he really save time? Actually, yes.
Yes. Like that level, if you do the level like optimally going the intended way, it's probably at least 2.5 minutes.
Yeah. This is the only time in the speed run we use. Oh, well, depending on how the end boss goes, where I use the mounted gun. Those are really cool. You just get like those like
cannons, and they rip through enemies.
Oh yeah,
They only get like 50 shots apiece.
Yeah, they're very satisfying to use though. I'm gonna be playing this level very conservatively, and that's because we're gonna need a lot of health, a lot of wine, and a lot of armor. I actually forgot to grab some armor in Rostley. There's some clean briefs and an undershirt that we could have gotten that I didn't, and now I'm regretting it because there is a very, very finicky damage boost in this stage.
Well, don't worry. If you need wine, Trent can go get you some.
There we go. Perfect. So, on a vanilla run, I'd say Incinerator... I was gonna say is probably my least favorite level, which sounds harsh, but like the worst HROT level is still a pretty great level. Also, grab that armor and have a couple swigs. I'm just gonna deal with these confidence because I don't want them to shoot me while we're kiting this gentleman over.
Oh, this freaking loader.
Yeah, so...
Those things are terrifying.
Yeah, they really are. And you think like, oh, well, like, yeah, it's because they're surprising, but like there's a few other things. They're unpredictable. They will track you everywhere. Like they'll get stuck on stuff like he just did. Come on, get us through. Yes! Oh, first try. Yes!
Very nice. With 7 health.
I've never done that first try.
I like how it's trying to come down and the door's just in the way.
Yeah, yeah. That's why we can't step on this half of the elevator. That's actually a door.
Yep.
Well, if we do well on the game show, we might get a little bit of health back.
Yes, so if you like RNG and wasting 45 seconds or so, we have a game show coming up.
Yeah! You may be wondering how you win this game show. That's a great question.
That is not one we are equipped to answer.
Yeah.
If anybody else can do it, they should do it instead of us.
Yeah. I'm probably only going to get the liver dumpling, which I think is only 5 health. Nope, 2 health.
Wow. There are a couple of enemies here, so
yeah, and
a little scary.
And a propane tank that likes to explode.
Oh right, I forgot about that.
Oh, welcome to Bubny, another lengthy level.
Yeah, this one's actually based on the real Praha Bubny station railway. This is like the game's arena level. Like this is the one.
2 massive fights with everything, including the kitchen sink. Ooh, we got a nice 1 health.
The only one that matters.
It's true. We also have a 2 times power up, thankfully.
You know, with the 2 times power, I want to see the double pistols get reloaded. I don't think I've ever seen them that way. I imagine that
there you go.
So good. Thank you.
That was worth any potential risk. You said it and I was like, oh my god, I don't think I've seen that either. And it was worth it. It was fantastic.
It was so worth it. Yeah, it really is just like all the mini touches in this game that really pull it together from just a good game to being like a really great, memorable one.
Totally. Also,
right,
we managed to pull that off with 1 health.
And now we've got wine.
We got wine, thankfully, and some German meat salad. We're having a nice little picnic over here in Bubny Station. Now, if you watch some very talented speedrunners play this, they will play it on the tracks. I don't have that level of confidence, so I like to stand back here. And the big reason is that trains coming through are going to take out a surprising amount of enemies.
Yeah, they come with like very little warning too, so it's easy to get caught in the firefight. You don't hear it, and then you just get run over and instantly die. Exactly,
and nothing's more frustrating than when you've got the last 4 enemies spawned, and you see Shemek the horse, and you're ready to finish it all off, and then you back up into a train.
Train of thought interrupted.
Yeah. Another reason why I like getting dualies earlier, because, well, they don't significantly... I don't think they make the pistol the most viable weapon. They make it a lot more viable.
They make good sniping tools.
That's true, yeah. They're reliable... Oh, I walked into it.
Oh! It's not even so much walking into it as you kicked off of it, and the train just kicked back.
Yeah, yeah. Don't get into a Taekwondo match with a train. You won't win.
The equal and opposite force does not apply here.
Yeah. And after this, we just have our end boss and then our epilogue.
Yeah, so if we have any announcements that we want to make before the end of the run, now is a great time.
Yeah.
Of course, I would be more than happy to remind everybody that we still have multiple other things coming up, such as Lena's Inception also has a bid war of its own, where we are bidding between either having an 8 or 32-bit graphic style. On top of that, Pokemon Puzzle League has a nice goal of $100. If you want to see a swag chain showcase by the end of the run, we would need to reach that $100 goal. On top of that, if you want a different kind of bid war, we also have... we've got Pikachu, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle as potential mons that we could pick for Pokemon Puzzle League. So if people want to bid on that, that is also an option. On top of that, I can also remind everybody that funds raised go to Alberta's Children's Hospital as unrestricted funds. This means the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars raised make the biggest impact possible.
Nope. The music stopped and I didn't know whether or not we actually got Shemik there. And then he landed on the...
He went flying with that shot. Alright, so this is the last way. We just have a small little room to deal with once we raise the water.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little annoying because the enemies can kind of get stuck up top and they can even kind of throw grenades from up there.
Yeah.
So you have to really, really watch your spacing.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, you can stand at the bottom and look up, but miners are a classic reason why we don't do that. We don't want one of them or a infested rider landing directly on us, because they'll just start meleeing us and obliterate us, or in the case of the miners, they'll just explode.
I just imagined, like, you becoming the rider's legs.
That would be pretty gnarly. All right, it's important to have gotten our donations and stuff out there, because I guarantee you're not going to be able to comment on anything except the boss fights in this.
Oh, it's a set of fights.
It's a set of fights that I have never seen anyone see. Like, everyone I know who's ever seen the end boss fights of this game, the most like normal response I've heard, basically, or the most like contained response I've seen is like, what on earth is going on here?
I couldn't stop laughing the entire time.
It's two incredibly funny boss fights. First one, anyone like the movie RoboCop? And anyone remember how they deal with the Ed 209 in RoboCop? Oh, there he goes.
And then just you have those landmines just to blow it up instantly.
Yeah, yeah.
They're good.
And now it's time for, I am going to do a little safety quick save here, because
the moment you try and flip these switches right here, boom!
The Commander-in-Chief.
The Supreme Commander-in-Chief.
Any likenesses to existing figures, real or otherwise, are imagined.
Just like this pterodactyl.
Yeah.
Like, nothing wrong here. So there are thankfully a lot of power-ups around the arena, so we're going to try and scope a few while we pick up the stuff. The bounty guns are also do a great amount of damage, and he's already almost dead.
Yeah, and I think I have a lightning gun, so I may just... Or for...
For swag, we'll crossbow.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, no, there it is. Okay. Okay, now that we've killed him, we are in fact going to perform gastroscopy on him by hopping into his mouth.
Hey, look, there's the Orloj gear.
Hey, what's it doing in the Supreme Commander-in-Chief's body? Okay, well, we got it. There's only one way out.
Yeah, you thought this story was already poopy? We're just gonna flush ourselves down.
Yep. And now we have the epilogue. So time will be coming up in about 45 seconds here. We just have to fix that clock. The Orloj astrological clock, by the way, is a magnificent piece of, I want to say, like 15th century engineering. I have no idea when they actually built it, but it's a beautiful device in real life. Like most things in this game, based on a real thing, so. Got a little sidetracked there and missed my exit.
That's all we have to do here. Is just fix the clock by putting the gear in. That makes the key spawn, which lets us get to the exit. There's some food to celebrate, and also there's some wine.
Yep.
And that's time.
Time. Woo! And
Congrats on a great run.
Oh, thank you. It was a wild one, but that's the way
it was
HROT
fun,
is.
and that's all we need.
Exactly. Thank you for the GG's, guys.
Oh, we got Simic the horse right there.
Yeah. I went through and hand-picked him as the one there. But yeah, great game. Goes on sale a lot. A solo dev, so highly advise picking it up. But any shout-outs, anything else you want to say, Zello?
I guess really just thanks for having me, and shout-outs to the HROT Discord and community.
Mm-hmm.
The speedrunners there are really fun, and this game has been pushed quite hard, especially by people like Kovic.
Mm-hmm.
They've just found lots of really cool things, and it's a neat run.
Totally, and not that it may have looked intimidating just from like how fast it moves and all the rocket jumps and stuff like that. It's actually a very forgiving run to learn, and it's a very like breezy game to just kind of play through casually while you're learning it. So, we'd love to see y'all in the Discord. All right.
Yeah, that's it for us. Thank y'all for having us. I don't know what's up next, actually.
I can fill you in on that.
Trauma Center?
Yeah, coming up next, we're going to have Trauma Center Second Opinion, being ran by our very own Slurpy Ninja. We will be back in just a moment with that. Stay tuned.
Later.